Welcome back to the soft,
Welcome.
somber sounds of Best Boys. The boys who are the best.
A film podcast by the Pitt Brothers. Brought to you by NPR.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your co-host, Kory with a Story, also known as Kory, joined by my brother.
Slob. That's it. Just slob.
Yes, Slob. What a wonderful name.
It's Polish actually. Slavic.
Love it.
Slavic.
Slavic? With a B?
Syllabic. It's actually syllabic.
That sounds delicious.
All right, welcome back. We're here, Pit Bros. We're doing it again. Number 9?
Yes.
BOOMFEST
last week was
Part 4.
BOOMFEST coming to a close.
The finale, the BOOMFEST finale. We're here.
BOOMFEST. They went back to the island. There it is.
They went back. We're not going back to the island. That's gonna be next year. Next year is gonna be Lost themed, and we're gonna dress up like our favorite Lost characters. I will be John Locke, of course, because of my, I got the hair for it.
Yeah. Is that the guy who's on the cover of Hurley, the Weezer album?
No, that's Hurley.
Oh, okay. I want to be him.
Yeah, I thought Hurley.
I like that album.
Yeah. His name's Hurley. He's the namesake of the album.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess
Mind blown.
they must have really been in Lost then. But all right, let me turn this down. Turn this music down, and we'll get to it. Let's get to this booming. But before we get to booming, we got news. We got hot scoop from our Hollywood insider, Kory. He with his story. Extra. Read all
right.
about it. I'm gonna get a drop. I like that.
Today's news. Yeah, we do need a soundboard. Something that
We need it would make the professional. It would bring the production quality up.
Yeah, the soundboard would make it a lot funnier. But all right, brought to you today. My sources, the Google RSS feed on my phone. Bombshell: Scarlett Johansson sues Disney over streaming rights or streaming revenue for Black Widow. Dun dun. Which apparently this is an open and shut case, because from what I read, that she has an email chain with one of the execs over at Disney that's just like, oh yeah, no, we're not, like, we're going theatrical only, but if it goes streaming as well, we'll let you know. And then they just never let her know, and then sent an email like, if we were to switch, we would renegotiate and all that, and then they didn't. And so she's just getting her percentage of back end that she was supposed to be getting, because it ended up going to both instead of just theatrical. So she's probably missing out on a couple million at least.
Yeah, I did see this story actually in the news. I was just trying to play the straight man role, I guess, the silly man. But yeah, that's kind of fucked up. That's pretty fucked up, because I understand that things are gonna be fluid in terms of releasing, but you gotta do the right thing in terms of how you're compensating your people. Apparently, I saw Emma Stone is now looking into this as well, because they did the same thing for Cruella.
Yes, and apparently also a lot of writers are considering going on strike again over this, because they get similar back-end deals that they're not getting anything from streaming. And so yeah, this is kind of, studios getting greedy. That's how it goes. They make billions in profits, yet they need more billions.
That's why it's all about indie, man. Indie forever. Obviously not you, but for everyone else, indie forever. Are you is there anything else?
I do go with the money.
Do you think,
other than that was the big headline for the week.
do you think this will set some kind of potential precedent? It's got to happen with the advent of streaming being a thing for movies, like new releases. They have to get that figured out.
Yeah.
So I think it's bound to happen eventually if they're going to do the shady shit.
Oh, for sure. And according to Warner Brothers, like they're HBO Max simultaneous releases are going over extremely well. Honestly, I really wanted to see Dune in the theater, but now I'm just like, maybe I can watch it in HDR at home, and that'll be nice.
I went to the theaters yesterday to
Oh, what'd you
see
see?
the Green Knight.
Oh, it's in theaters.
Yes, I saw it in theaters, and it was well. I won't talk about the movie too much because I think we won't do it next week.
Tell us about
But
the experience. We haven't been in the movies in what feels like years.
I definitely really enjoyed the big screen, like seeing a giant screen. It's not as like the definition isn't quite there when you see it on a big screen. Like it doesn't feel like it's any smaller screen. The resolution looks sharper. But so like there is some loss there, but just seeing it, everything gigantic, it's really awe-inspiring, and the sound is really good, and the Green Knight in particular had a really good sound design and score, so it made a big difference, and I was glad I saw it in the theater. But
nice. Yeah, I wanted to go see Black Widow just because I've seen all the other Marvel movies, but I just haven't gotten around to going to it. I reactivated my MCA list, so I need to see at least one movie a month to make it worth it.
Yeah, well, the Green Knight is. We should just do Green Knight next week.
And Pigs in theaters.
Yeah, I want to do. We can do
down.
Pig. We can do Pig and Green Knight.
The Waterfront list.
But there's like a little list of ones. Well, Space Jam. I also wanted to do Space Jam.
God, I'm terrified to watch it.
Cause like we as a gag episode.
Yeah.
But
that I will watch at home when I go next.
I listened to my brother and me, the comedy podcast, and they talked about Space Jam 2, and it was hilarious. So I am really interested in seeing it. I'm just trying to get Riss in the right mood at the right time to watch something terrible. But yeah. Speaking of terrible, like, here's the Expendables. Let's talk about the Expendables.
Want to open with the Expendables? All right.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's the order that is the order I titled it as.
All right, let me get my notes up. Ooh, hooey. God, what a movie.
What a film.
What a I'm not gonna lie.
What a piece of cinema.
First take, the last time I watched this was back when it first came out on like VOD, and it seemed a lot cooler back then than it does now. Granted, it was 11 years ago, so that makes sense. God damn, we're that old.
Yeah, I remember this being a big deal when the first one. This is not the picture from the first one.
Yeah, but look at all those hunks. Is that Harrison Ford in there?
Oh, yeah, I think he was in one of them.
Apparently, the third's the worst, second is the best, and first is just.
There's one with the hairy chest.
Yeah.
Sorry. I wish I could tell my jokes without busting out and laughing. That's always been my problem. Oh yeah, here we go. You seeing this?
Yeah, Randy Couture, one of the hottest action stars of the 80s.
Hottest actors of ever. So yeah, this movie was enjoyable because I wanted to see how they're using all these people. But this movie was butt ass. This may be the worst. I think this is the new worst movie we've watched on Best Boys.
Yeah, I think I like Army
of Dead better than this. I think I like Army of Dead more than this. It had much more endearing qualities about it. The charm is in that you like all these actors and you like everybody, and you just want to see them do stuff. But sometimes they rely on that way too much. And the church scene in particular is the one.
I have written down for the church scene is just Arnie drags his dick through the pews and then leaves.
I wonder if they wrote how many lines are written down for that, or if they just fucking winged it, because it certainly feels like a couple of guys who aren't that great at acting were winging it.
Yeah.
It was just relying on, oh, it's Arnold, Bruce Willis, and there's just all these characters that are never come back, and like,
yeah, Bruce Willis is on the poster and he's in it for fucking
5 minutes,
less than 5 minutes.
Same with Arnold's on the poster.
Arnold's not on the poster though. That's the thing. That's the weird thing. Bruce Willis is on the poster. Makes no sense. He's Church. I think he's in the. He comes back in the second one, but then he doesn't go back. He's not in the third one. And I remember reading somewhere that they offered him $3 million for 4 days of work on the third, or on either the second or the third Expendables, and he said no, he wants $4 million, and they said,
what year did this movie come out?
2010.
Wow, so it is one of the older. It's older than The Raid, right?
Yeah. The Raid
that's what we're in, a pre-Raid. This is a pre-Raid world we're living in right now. Whereas Kingsman and Atomic Blonde feel very much post-Raid, or post-John Wick, whatever you want to say. You can see that in the way those movies are made versus the way this movie is made.
When did Kingsman come out? Yeah, 2014.
Kingsman 2014. It definitely seemed. Well, we'll get to that, but I see the influence there. Yeah, this is bad. This is just not good. Randy Couture. They have to. I noticed that they have so many. I know we just keep shouting his name. There's so many scenes that are just like, oh, this is just so they have a reason to use this one person.
Yeah.
And like they all get one moment to do something. Jet Li gets a couple moments, but he doesn't ever win. And they just insult him for being short and possibly racist.
They make him insult himself for being short.
Possibly racist. Yeah, there is a little bit of Asian weird stuff going on here to Jet Li.
I just want to know why did.
So yeah, Randy Couture. He has a monologue about cauliflower ear. And it's just like, why did we need to explain why his ears look like that?
It's the way I took it as, and because I wrote down the same thing. It was just like cauliflower exposition dump. I wonder if it's because like, hey, he's not one of the action heroes like everybody else is. Maybe people don't know that he's a UFC fighter. So let's just throw a line in there to just be like, why the fuck does this dude have weird ears? For like the mainstream audience that doesn't watch UFC or MMA at all. That's what I thought was my reasoning. That's what I thought their reasoning was for it, but it's just so dumb. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it seemed like they're like treating it like he's got a fucking disfigurement. And it seems like even
anus ears.
It's
Don't laugh at me.
I think that's why they have him wear a bucket hat to like help cover them a little bit. Like, right, it's gotta be. Honestly. It's gotta.
Sylvester Stallone just goes up to him and is like, "Hey, Randy, your ears are scaring the children."
It's pretty good. Your Stallone's pretty good. We gotta have your Stallone hang out with my Pacino sometime. Hey, Randy, your ears are ugly.
Ow! He's got feelings, man.
Fuck you. Great ass though.
Randy Couture, ass ears,
ass eater,
great ass ears,
great ass ears. Terry Crews actually doesn't even get a full scene, but what they do is they sprinkle his character a little bit. Like them in the very beginning, you see him working on something. And then later on, he gets to tell you about what he's working on. And then in the end, you get to see him use what he's told you about. And then that's it. That's it. Terry Crews. That's it. Hero's journey. The hero's journey of Terry Crews.
It was so good. I'm just like, you get Terry Crews. Why would you not get him to do the Terry Crews? Like, let him go nuts and scream and be like who he is.
Yeah, he was like the tech guy or something.
He's literally cutting people in half with his machine gun, and he's silently though. Does not saying a word, just like Terminator style, plowing through, just stepping forward.
It's weird that So the way they use Mickey Rourke is also interesting because he's not on the team, but he's like their
Sounds like a former member.
he's like their Bosley from Charlie's Angels. If that makes sense, he's like Bosley. But I think that
he has throwaway lines. He has throwaway lines that him and Sylvester Stallone used to like work together, like or do.
Yeah. I think they allude that he used to be on the team, but it's like I feel like they had to keep coming back to him because he's the only good actor out of everyone in this fucking movie.
Oh, he was great. He was my favorite part of the movie.
That's why they let him just fucking wax poetic about whatever and chew up scenery because it's just it carries the load for everyone else that they don't have to actually give lines or act. Randy Couture's acting will actually like the few lines he got weren't terrible.
They get better as the movie goes on, if that makes sense. Like you could tell he learned how to act as the movie was going. Because his opening stuff in the beginning cargo scene, like not cargo scene, it's in a shipping container. In the opening, where it sounds like a guy reading off a script for his early lines.
There was a couple lines, it sounded like he was reading off a card or something. Yeah, the most egregious thing is the Jet Li was used terribly. Honestly, who comes off looking the best in this movie? So Sylvester Stallone is the one that is basically the lead, quote unquote, of this thing and has the most time. But I would say Dolph Lundgren is low key the underrated, the hidden gem of this film. I think his performance is weird and it somehow works for me, and it's very ham-fisted, and he seems to like get around pretty good for how old he is, and Biggie, how fucking huge he is. The fight between him and Jet Li was absolutely ridiculous. Terrible, but almost so bad it was good.
With Dolph, it was like the only thing I really like wrote down about him, other than like he's Dolph Lundgren, so I got the Dolph. But at the end, after he gets shot and everything, at the end of the movie, he's just like patched up and it's like, "Hey, Gunner's back." It's like no one cares the fact that he just tried to murder Jet Li and Sylvester Stallone. Like no one gives a shit, and he's just back on the team, beginning.
They gave a shit that he tried to hang somebody, and then that's what got him kicked out. Then he murders a bunch of people, and they're like, "Hey, we shot you. That was enough. You're back in."
But it literally is about to throw Jet Li on a spike and gets shot by Sylvester Stallone. And it's just like,
Jet Li can't catch a break.
Welcome back, guy.
You're back. Jet Li can't catch a break on this one.
No, he was
used as the one to take the losses.
Oh, they did in all the martial arts stuff. And like everything he does,
he barely did any martial arts. He barely did any martial arts.
And when he did, there's such fast cutting, you can't appreciate it. Like
exactly,
kind of like an old action movie instead of what's it called?
Jason Statham probably got the second most amount of screen time.
Yeah, I thought he was probably the best. Like he has corny lines, but he did his thing.
Oh, his storyline was absolutely terrible.
Oh, so bad.
Oh, it was the worst part of the movie.
I just like when he's like in the action and shit like that, like I was like, all right, he's the transporter again, and then like it was cool for me. But yeah, his stuff with the dude who beats his girlfriend and shit
his ex-girlfriend, and oh my god, that was awful.
I like how it was the old like bro I guess not bro mentality, but the thing, I'm just like, all right, come on, babe, you're gonna come with me and watch me beat the shit out of your boyfriend. Like she brings him down.
Yeah, it's really bad. It feels like a B movie. It feels like a straight to DVD movie in those kinds of scenes. And
I written down. Sorry, go ahead.
Just same thing with the dictator's daughter. Like all the stuff with her was not very good either. I boarded her immediately. I mean, honestly, all the stuff with the dictator was bad too. Who I like because he's from Dexter.
Yeah. Louise on Dexter.
And Eric Roberts, I think, was fine. Like his Eric Roberts' performance was fine, but I mean, I'm glad they used all these weird actors. But man, it looked low budget in some of those scenes.
Yeah, I have here written down about the production value was CGI fire, Most of the fire at the end in the second half of the movie is CGI and fake, but and like blatantly fake. And like when Stone Cold Steve Austin is just fighting off a ghost of a fire ghost is what it looks like, because the flames don't actually look like they're coming off his body. It's just like poorly composited on.
Oh, you mean and Randy Couture fights a flaming person too, doesn't he?
Superman punches fucking flaming Stone Cold
Yeah,
Steve
that
Austin.
was Randy Couture. Yeah. They had to have Randy do an MMA thing. But you know they used another. There was another MMA fighter in it, and that was Minotauro Nogueira. He was one of the one of the main soldiers for the dictator guy, and he didn't get a fight at all. Like I don't even remember how he died. Maybe I like wasn't paying attention by that point, but I was interested. I thought they were gonna have him and Randy fight, but it did not happen.
Yeah, I don't even know how Randy got in this movie. Like, how did they like Terry Crews? Understand Stone Cold Steve Austin, sure, because WWE was a lot more mainstream.
Well, Randy retired, I think, right around this time. And like the MMA fighters are getting in more movies. Rampage Jackson was in the A-Team. Ronda Rousey would follow in the next couple of years.
Yeah. And then that one girl was in Deadpool and then The Mandalorian. Can't think of her name. Gina Carano.
Yeah, Gina Carano. Haywire. Yeah, this movie sucked ass.
It looked like it came from the early 2000s. Is what I was trying to say before.
Yeah.
It does not look like a 2010 movie. It looks a decade older than it is. But I mean, you have guys that like thrived in the 80s and 90s.
It's like how did they? I want to know about how the budget was allocated, because it has to mostly be to the wages of this cast.
Yeah, and the budget was only 80,000, which is fairly low for an action movie of that time. Like that.
Wait, 80,000 is the budget of the whole movie?
Sorry, 80 million. 80 million.
Oh my goodness!
But around that era, your action flicks are usually around like 120 to 150 million for your big action ones. So like, think about I would say at least $30 million of the budget went to the cast, at least, because of them all being like.
Well, this is Sylvester Stallone's passion project, so he probably was like more back end shit. And that's probably why they got Randy and Terry, is because they weren't quite as big a act. They're probably cheaper than having Bruce Willis or Arnold be in the main squad.
They probably paid $1 million for Bruce Willis to be there for that one scene. Like, I would not be surprised.
Bruce Willis is the only other good actor in this movie, and you could just tell in that scene, like, God, like, Bruce is just trying to deliver these lines, but it's awful. It's so cringe and awkward. Oh my God, that scene is so awkward. I just kept shouting at the screen for it to stop.
It's just Arnie just literally slow walking down the pews as his dick drags behind him.
He's like an old senile man. He's like, I don't even understand what his motive is here. He shows up and is like, okay, you two guys are former friends. You want this mission? I don't want it anyway. And they just walks out.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
You want this? Yeah, it's bad. It's so bad. And all the acting is bad. Bruce Willis has this like horrible laugh, like chuckle, where he's just like, ha ha ha. Yeah.
It's awkward as fuck. It's so awkward. He knows it's awkward, and he's just there to get that bag, because this is the phase of his career that he's in. This is when getting Bruce started. And then it was followed by many straight to DVD movies after that.
Yeah, you give him $1 million, they'll show up to anything. That's the word on the street.
I can't get over this picture either. It's fucking looks like pride fighting.
This movie made 3 times its budget though.
Oh well, yeah, because it was gimmick. It was the gimmick.
But not a great. 3 times is not a lot of money though on this. It's only made $275 million.
But it's all on the gimmick. It was all on the gimmick. I can't believe they made 2 more.
The second one, I'm pretty sure, did better and is overall rated better. Everyone I've talked to about this said watch the second one.
Only if Dolph's in it. I'm only watching if Dolph's in it.
And Dolph is in the second one. And then they added Jean-Claude Van Damme, Chuck Norris, Bruce Willis and Arnie are back. Liam Hemsworth, Scott Atkins, Amanda Ooms, and Charisma
Scott
Carpenter.
Atkins, isn't that the guy
he's
from
the stunt
Party
guy.
of Five?
I think he's the stunt choreographer or the stunt guy, right? He like Phil. He was. Yeah. He did the in X-Men Origins Wolverine, the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. He
Oh,
was the Deadpool
terrible.
version.
Terrible. Okay, hate
doing
him.
all the karate kicks and stuff.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that was cool, I guess. I don't think I don't have a lot to say about this movie. I didn't write down a lot of notes because it was I hated it. I'm just mad about Jet Li. What?
You know, like Stone Cold Steve Austin just beating girls and
yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin's character beat women every time he was on screen. Eric Roberts would be like, I don't like to hit women, but Steve Austin
winks at the camera. And
just like wink. I love it. I love it.
What can I say?
Well, that was a good Steve Austin.
2 beers. No, I can't do it well, but
you had it for a second. Yeah, rest in peace, Jet Li. They did you dirty on this one.
So dirty on this. It just makes me want to watch like one of his old good movies, like the Once Upon a Time in China movies.
Yeah, you deserve a lot better. And I'm sure it doesn't get better for him in later ones that he's in because there's just more people he has to share screen time with. And there's already too many in this one. There's already too many people to have these lines.
Yeah, it feels like the cast of the second one is what this first one should have been.
Yeah, you're really on the second one. You really want it. You want to see it.
Van Damme and Chuck Norris getting added in, that's huge. And I guess
Chuck Norris, I bet, is snow dogged in, just like fucking Arnold. They're gonna be.
Look at the poster for the second one. It looks so cool.
It's a bunch of snow dogs. They're gonna have cameos.
Oh no.
You know it to be. Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Hey, the third one has Wesley Snipes.
I know. I looked at them.
Almost there.
It's intriguing. The gimmick gets you still, despite having
Harrison Ford, Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer, action god.
Beast is gonna be in it. Frasier.
Wow. Let's score this thing. I got nothing more to say.
Oh wow. Let me go.
Unless there's something else, yeah. Like unless there's something else you need to talk about.
I watched this on Hulu. I don't know what you watched this on, but they had it on Hulu for free.
Yes, I watched on Hulu. I did watch on Hulu.
And there are so many speed ramp moments in this movie. At least that's what it looked like. We know where they speed the footage up to make it seem faster.
Yes, I could tell
so much of that in the first half of this movie, on the car chase on the island the first time, and the Dolph Lundgren chase. All this it just looks so bad. Mickey Rourke is the smoothest man alive.
Yeah, it's very misogynist. His character is very misogynist. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. It's cool to be, or something.
But he's all like beaten up about it when he's painting the guitar for the girl that left him already. So
yeah, it's ridiculous. Some old stripper.
About 50, I would say, to 70 international laws got broken when they just bombed the shit out of the fucking docks the first time they went to the island. And just like how many international laws were broken in that moment, and like no one gave a shit or noticed. And like the fact they just left 2 guys and then they come back, also no one noticed in that big ass plane. You got Jason Statham just hanging out the front nose of the airplane, shooting a flare gun backwards that somehow is like, as I don't know, the physics of it didn't make sense to me. And then it's all fake flames igniting on the dock. It was super, super bad and dumb. It didn't make sense.
I also don't know how they just murdered everyone in that town and just like, yeah, we just murdered everyone in this town. There's none left.
Yeah, they blew up like all of the Capitol building and everything. It was so shitty. Oh, it's just so bad. The nicknames are all terrible. It's just Oh, I will say there are some John Woo style gunplay in which fucking everyone just unloads a clip per body for a little bit, which I thought was a nice callback.
Yeah, that like older, like 80. That's very 80s.
Yeah, just a bunch of really bad CGI. That's really it.
Yeah, it was. This is the worst movie thus far on Best Boys. Army of the Dead is as a good. I think I know. I remember what I gave it on Letterboxd. But
You gave Army of the Dead a 2.
no, I gave Army. Yeah, I think I did. I give Army of the Dead too. What are we giving this? I don't want to. I can't talk about this anymore.
Well, you can go first.
No, you go first. You go first. You like this movie?
Oh, I think it's dog shit. I just remember liking it a lot more when I saw it when it came out. But I'm good. Yeah, this is a 2. This is a solid 2 for me. Just and what gives it a 2 is the gimmick that keeps it from being a 1.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 2 also, but it's definitely. I think it's. Maybe I should give it a 1.5 because I think it's significantly inferior to Army of the Dead, and it's just the only thing that gets it like it's watchable because you just want to see how they use all these people that you like from actually good movies, and they use them terribly. So it's just for that gimmick. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 2, but it's only for that reason. Only for that reason. As a film, it's probably a 1, a 1.5.
I definitely could go never watching this again. There's not even like any cool, like, every action movie, if it at least has one really cool action sequence that can like at least, I'll come back watch that. But this is nothing. It's all boring. It's all just dumb and cheesy and just it's a bunch of old men just like jerking off in front of a mirror to themselves.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have this a burning desire to see the other ones, but I will if necessary.
I just want to watch it in like an MST3K style of way where it's just like I know it's gonna be horrible, but it's like I want to see Wesley Snipes, I want to see Van Damme, and I want to see if I get Snow Dog by Chuck Norris.
All right, let's talk. Let's move on.
All right, to a good movie.
I've
seen this movie after this week's watching. I've now seen this movie 5 times.
Wow! I've seen bits and pieces of it before. I realized as I watched it, but I've only seen it once, fully from beginning to end.
It was just a movie that when it was on, I just always watch it.
There's a lot to love about it. It's a really good. I think it's got a lot of style, but also a lot of like it's a pastiche of like James Bond and other action films as well. Like this is a much better way to combine a bunch, pay homage to a bunch of like action classics.
Funny enough, the budget to this movie, which came out 4 years later, is the exact same as Expendables. 81 million.
Oh my god, it looks so much better.
Right? And like granted, I think
spend it all on the
on film, but yeah, they didn't spend it. Oh my god. Yeah, it goes to show when you're not massaging a bunch of egos, what you can put money to use to. But for those who don't know, this was based on a comic book series called The Secret Service. I've never read it, but
I didn't know that.
Good things.
This is a good cast, though. This actually is a good cast. Taron Egerton, Colin Firth, Mark Strong, Samuel L. Jackson, Sophia Boutella, and Michael Caine. Mark Hamill is also in the beginning a bit.
Yeah.
It's good. I honestly, this was it was like, honestly, like First Blood, where it was the first 2 acts. I'm like, this is excellent. This is so much fun. This is so much style. The cast is great. It just, yeah, like I said, it pays homage to so many classics. Like the training sequence, like the test, reminded me of Men in Black, where with when Will Smith has to. He's like amongst all these like military elites, and like, where are you from? He's like, I'm from NYPD, and like they all like laugh at him because he's dumb, and then he ends up winning or whatever, and getting in. And this was but then once the third act came together, I did have some more issues with it. Not enough to make me think that it's not a good movie or anything, but I fell off from maybe thinking that this is like an all-time classic film. It's such a good watch. I'd recommend it to anybody. I think it's just there's some third act flaws. The way they use some characters, particularly female characters, are not used the best, and not given a whole lot to do. But then I get in some ways it's James Bond. James Bond's a man. It's a very masculine genre, so I get that in a way. Colin Firth is awesome. Colin Firth is the whole reason you should go see this movie, because it's so cool to see him in the role like this.
Yeah, he's definitely like the best part of the movie. He's super good. Is just perfect delivery of just like, I'm a badass, but also the most like gentleman person in the world.
Yeah, gentleman badass is the best way I describe it.
What a badge of honor.
Yeah, he's the whole reason to watch this movie. His scenes alone, I could just the church scene, which is fucking buckshit wild.
It's so good.
You could just show somebody, just like those fights. It holds up with just like those fight scenes from the Raid or something. Like, you just send somebody this, that's what they see. It's got a little bit of the Wanted Equilibrium gun shit in it, a little bit. It's definitely got some of that Raid John Wick style. But then it's got the James Bond thing,
Yeah, but I like that it keeps it like on a lighter, like, it like still like, even though it's ridiculous and so many people are dying, you don't feel like horrified, more just like excited of like the thrill ride of what's happening, and like the way it's shot and
it feels like
fun.
Yeah, it feels like a violent comic book. Where it's like violent, but it doesn't make you like feel bad about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah,
violence.
It's just kind of like this is the world that it created, where it's just
cartoon.
Everything is cartoony. That's it. And I think that goes with how it's shot too. It's very vibrant and bright. It's not like dark and gritty. It's very much like just clean and like the way it's shot is also, I guess you could say, is a great juxtaposition to the violence of the way it's shot. Is very clean and proper and just really nice. And then you've got all of this over the top violence and blood all throughout it, and it just mixes in so perfectly. Because like it knows what it is, and it's not trying to be over serious or overly dumb and funny. It's just like this perfect gentleman badass of a movie.
So this movie is directed by Matthew Vaughn. Other films that he's done are X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass, Stardust, which I actually saw a few months ago for the first time, Layer Cake, which I didn't know that he did, and I've heard of it and I would like to see it, and the sequels to Kingsman.
Apparently Layer Cake is considered the movie that got Daniel Craig the James Bond role, so I'd be excited to see that.
Yeah, I would put that on the list, and Stardust is good. I would put that as worthy of seeing. It's like a very unique fantasy epic. The guy, what's his name? Charlie from I forget his last name, but from Daredevil, the Netflix Daredevil, he's the lead. Robert De Niro is in it, and he is like a gay pirate, and he's really good. It's like one of the actual unique Robert De Niro roles, up there with Cape Fear, I would say, as he's playing something that's not an Italian gangster. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's not perfect by any means, but it's very unique setting. This weird fantasy setting. And Kick-Ass I've seen. I'm not like a huge I wasn't a
I
huge
loved
fan
the
of
first
it.
one. I loved.
I don't think. I think it's obviously flawed, but it's a fun ride. Like it's like a three-ish.
Yeah.
It's three-ish to me. I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time. X-Men First Class I probably like a bit better, but it's also same thing. It's like not not a perfect film, but it revitalized the X-Men universe for a little while, breathed a little life into it.
Yeah.
But this, I think, is probably the best that I've seen of his. Stardust or this is probably my favorite of his. Especially like just how flawlessly this whole aesthetic and vibe is curated and perfected and set up. My issues with it are all how it ends up being carried out through the end, but I think none of that ruins it for me. This is a great ride. This is a great time. I would highly recommend checking it out and deciding for yourself. There's a few things we're gonna need to talk. I think people should know about the movie before they see it. But with the ending, but I think it's so much fun, and it's got edge. It's got some edge, but it's like you said, it's cartoony. It feels like a late '90s edgy, over the top comic that is fun and silly and funny, the Boys or something like that. Not as edgy as that, but I could feel that it is in that deep dark horse comic lane. Not sure where this comic comes from, but
I want to say this is a Mark Miller comic. Sorry, Mark Millar comic.
I was just making sure I knew.
That's what it's the same thing that Kick-Ass did. Icon, that's it, yeah. Speaking of Kick-Ass, though, bringing that up and that being done 4 years before this. I feel like this is a cleaned up version of it. Like this is a much
more polished movie, well-made movie, less gimmicky, less I don't know, hammy is the word I'm looking for, because it is hammy, but in a better way, like a artful way.
I feel like Kick-Ass is I loved Kick-Ass. I thought it was really good, but mostly because of it it was a movie that was constantly beating down the hero over and over again. But it was also funny and ridiculous. But this is more. This is definitely an overall better movie. This is definitely a more matured, Matthew Vaughn trying to get that kind of a feel and image to it.
I don't think Kick-Ass is bad. Kick-Ass is is definitely a 3 for me, and this is definitely better than that. But they still see some of that immaturity in it.
Yeah.
It's just much more mature than the previous works that I've seen. Stardust even has that same feeling where I like everything that's going on, and I like this vibe, the aesthetic here. There's a little bit of messiness to it. I don't think the Kingsman is messy at all. It's just maturity, I think, is a big part of it. I think that shows in this film with the handling of the female characters, and how they're used to just kind of propel Taron Egerton's character's Digsy's story. Taron Egerton is great, and Taron Egerton has had a career since this, and well deserved, because he's got a lot of charisma.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like the cast as is also what makes this so perfect, because
everybody's well casted.
Everybody melds well together. Every scene, no one feels like it's stealing or anything. It all feels like it's just cohesive and just flows. Where there's no no characters in the same room at any given time feel off, or their performance just sticks out or anything, because it's just so well put together. I love Sam Jackson and his lisp in this.
I was gonna say, how did you feel about his lisp?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was nice to see. It reminded me of Sam Jackson in The Spirit. Obviously not the lisp, but his character in this.
How ham he is, and
I like seeing that side of things.
He's definitely having fun with it. I didn't like him at first because it felt like he was emphasizing the lisp, hey, I got a lisp, everybody, I got a lisp. And then as it went on, it felt much more comfortable. I would be curious if that was directed that way, or if that was they filmed that one first, so he got more comfortable more natural with the lisp. But it works. It ends up working. His character's motivations are interesting. So basically, he is a eco-fascist. He is an environmentalist, but wants to cull the poor population, not the rich, apparently, and to save the planet, essentially. So he's willing to commit mass genocide, to do it. And he like is a tech guy, like he owns a phone company. He kind of gives off like Russell Simmons vibes to me, or like not Spike Lee, but maybe just because it's the way he dresses and he's rich, and his attitude. But I wonder if he's channeling something with that. Sophia Boutella also is an interesting character because she has prosthetic feet, bottoms half her legs, and but there's swords in her legs, so she like cuts people's heads off with them. And I honestly immediately thought of Oscar Pistorius, the South African Paralympian who had those kind of blades on his feet.
Yeah.
And he murdered his girlfriend. So I wondered if that was an inspiration for this character. I think that had to be an inspiration for this character because what else would make you want to think of a murderous Paralympian or a murderous person with prosthetic feet other than an actual murderer?
I'm curious if that character's in the comics.
Oh, you're right. The comic's not that old though. The comic was 2012. So it's only 2 years before the film came out.
Yeah,
which is weird. But maybe he knows the author. Maybe it's related to the Kick-Ass guy or Mark Millar. What else has he done?
He did Kick-Ass.
Oh, okay, he is the Kick-Ass guy.
Yeah, he's Kick-Ass, The Spirit, Sin City. Like he's all that.
Yeah.
Or no, Frank Miller's.
No, Frank Miller. Yeah, let's say that's Frank Miller. He did Old Man Logan. Logan.
Yeah. And Kick-Ass though. He definitely did Kick-Ass. Mark Millar.
So, are we ready to talk about my issues yet? Because I do want to make sure after Atomic Blonde, because a movie I didn't actually hate, but actually hated on a lot during the podcast. I want to make sure I give this its due and make sure I do tell you that it is a really good time and is a really fun movie. I want to talk, I wasn't done with Sophia Boutella. Sophia Boutella was also in Atomic Blonde. She was the she's the lesbian love interest, and she's in Climax. She's the lead of Climax, and I'm gonna make you watch that movie for the podcast probably now sooner because she keeps coming up. But man, is that movie buck wild. And now I see this chick popping up everywhere since then. And these movies are all before Climax, which is interesting. I don't think I have anything else to say with the cast. Mark Strong was finally not playing a villain, and he was good.
Oh, he's great. I love Merlin in this.
Michael Caine's fine. Older Michael Caine. Old man. Logan.
Did you how did you feel about Michael Caine's heel turn?
I thought it was fine. It wasn't like it didn't bother me. I didn't think anything about it. Did you see
it coming at all, or?
I guess not really. Not really. I didn't. Not really. But it didn't like blow me away. Like I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. It was just kind of like, it's like, oh well, that sucks, okay. And then just moving on.
That's essentially how I felt about it as well. Oh, okay, damn.
I love Michael Caine. His heart stopped. Damn. He killed himself.
The guy who plays the rival that didn't make it through and is like related to Michael Caine or something.
Yeah.
And it comes back at the end. I don't know why that character stuck out to me, but I was glad he got his in the end.
Yeah. So I'm curious what your gripes are. I was gonna ask earlier what about the third act didn't you like?
Okay, we're ready for this.
I'm curious.
Okay, first, I think the elephant in the room, the anus in the room, is the whole anal sex joke to finish out the movie. So first there's that. The second point is the anal sex joke. I don't know how I feel about, but there's a lot of discourse about it online. There was a controversy around the movie after it was released, I found out. And even to this day,
Really?
Taron Egerton gets questions about the anal sex scene in Kingsman 1. And apparently Kingsman 2 references it. So, yeah, it's a thing.
Man, I didn't realize it was such a hot topic.
Yeah. Well, okay, so it's not the issue of like. So I thought it was like, oh, well, if this lady consents, like maybe she's just a freak. Let me explain it for our guests at home. Our hero, Taron Egerton, finds a Swedish princess locked in a cell in Samuel Jackson, the supervillain's lair. And she was in the beginning of the movie, and she didn't cooperate, and she got fucking captured or whatever. And he goes, oh, you're a prince. She says she's a princess. And he's like, oh, you're a princess. I've always wanted a kiss from a princess. Like, just joking and being like, he was just smiling and joking. And I mean, it was a little weird for to say to somebody who's been literally captured and God knows what has been happened to them. Kidnapped is a traumatic experience. And she's just like, ha ha ha, if you get me out of here, we can do more than that. But it was like a desperate kind of joking but desperate thing. And then he comes back later. Or no,
well, no, she straight up says,
yeah, she says,
if you save me, I'll let you fuck me in the ass.
But that's what happens, yeah. So then she says, if you save me, I'll let you fuck me in the ass. Because he says he's got to leave. And he comes back at the end with a bottle of champagne and a couple of glasses, and they let her out, and she's like already ready to go. And I don't see any lube around, but apparently he puts it in her butt. And the credits pretty much happen with a zoom out on her butt. And that's it. Like naked butt. You can almost see things in there. And yeah.
And then it cuts to Mark Strong, who's just like, oh, well, I should put this away, and then closes his computer because he can see through the glasses of what he sees.
Yeah, it was cute. It was a funny gag, but it's like realistic in like terms of writing. Like it's someone that's been put through a traumatic experience is not going to be like offering anal sex to like the first person that they see, and the first person that they see to just accept that from somebody who could be like, you know, mentally not in the right place is kind of like taking advantage, I think, a little bit. And I understand that this is a modern take, and what I looked into it, and apparently they're trying to riff on James Bond shit and how he would get sex in the weirdest ways in some of these movies.
Yeah.
So I get that that's what you're channeling, but it almost like it's not really a subversion. It's just like they did it again and more explicitly. And I don't know. It did make me laugh. It didn't like bother me or offend me. I just wondered about it. Like, is this? I
feel like with the over the top of the movie and with all the action and everything else, and there isn't really any sex throughout it at all. It just it felt like
I think that's what made it feel so out of place. It was very random.
I just thought it was just like a funny little. I chuckled at it. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Because I didn't like think anything of it because the way it's shot or anything, it's not like. It's not none of this movie feels real. And then like with the lady's reaction, you know, she's like all smiling and everything. And so it's just like, it's kind of just like the end of A Knight's Tale, not the movie The Knight's Tale, but like the generic, just like A Knight's Tale, where you're just like coming home with like to grab the maiden or whatever.
Yeah, but that's bad. That's not good. That's not a good representation for a modern movie. Like you're talking about Middle Ages shit.
I meant just like I don't know. I guess like, but it just felt like part of it. It just felt like part of it.
If
the
it was
whole movie thing.
If it was one thing by itself, it'd be like, oh, let's wonder about it. Haha, it's weird and funny, but it's strange. But it was the way that the female agent was used. Like she was like. She actually beat him, so she's the best. But then they like shoot her into space. She gets to shoot a rocket, shoot a missile, and then she's gone from the movie essentially. Like, and then Taron Egerton, who is the inferior agent, gets to storm the base and do all the big secret agent shit that a normal secret agent would do. And it's just. I get that he's the main character, so he has to do that. But you can write that in a better way, or you could have had her be involved. Like, why did he have to do it alone, or something like that? And then it's fine that they did it. It's just like you didn't. used that character better if you were going to have it even have her exist at all. The third issue was, and this isn't a huge gripe either, it's just something that now in the modern age we can point at and notice and do better, is that all of the good guys, every single one, is white, most male. All the bad guys, multiple of them, are the only. I'm not even that the bad guys. It's that the only brown, like people of color, not white people in the movie are bad guys.
Yeah.
And like that is it's not like if they didn't, they probably wasn't thinking of it, you know, I imagine. But if this is, I don't know, Matthew Vaughn's British. So
I'm wondering this coming out so soon after the comic, if it was just like, let's just go comic for comic, like, or adapt, you know, like not thinking about anything else.
But that's not good either if the
so.
comic's like that. And I don't think it is. I doubt that it is.
I mean, it's 2 years older, and
that's, I mean, honestly, this isn't that old. This isn't that old to even, this isn't even that old to give it the full excuse. But it is, you know, it's not egregious. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this movie's racist or this movie's sexist or whatever. It's just, this was made by like, when I'm talking about maturity, those are things I think that a more mature person would have maybe noticed. The immaturity and the anal sex thing is for sure a thing. And then, like, I like old Kevin Smith stuff, you know, the good ones. I like dirty things, and I like sex things, and I like whatever. But like I said, this didn't bother me. This didn't ruin the movie for me. But those were a couple of things like that I noticed in that regard. And then I just, like, I wasn't as engaged into what was happening, like with this party, and like the exploding head thing was really cool. I like that, even though it was weird, shitty CGI, it just worked for me.
yeah,
like the clouds, I liked it a lot. There's a lot to like, even in the end. It just felt, like I thought they were gonna do more with it, or they were gonna just do it better, and I don't know, it didn't feel executed well to me. I'm having a hard time articulating my exact gripes beyond those that were obvious to me. But it didn't engage with me as the first two acts did, where I was like, this, it was just like First Blood, where I'm like, this is, I messaged you like, this is great, this film is really good. And this is got so much style, and it's got like Edgar Wright vibes a little bit. It's got a lot going on, and I want to see more from, I want to see the sequel. I want to see more from this universe. I want to see more from Matthew Vaughn. I think this is a really good movie. It just misses the mark a little bit in that third act for me, and that takes it away from being great. Like, because you like my great tier.
Yeah,
it's just
but
right under that.
The real question is, how did you feel about the final fight between Eggsy and the scissor lady, the sword on her legs lady?
I wasn't invested in it, really. I feel like I wasn't like invested in it for some reason. I didn't hate it. I didn't, but he just kind of kicked her ass after she was kicking everyone else's ass.
Yeah, I will just say that the out of that, what I genuinely liked was I liked harpooning Samuel L. Jackson with one of her legs.
I liked that it made him puke. Cool. I liked that it made him puke because he's squeamish. It's like that stuff with his character I thought was really cool. And it's like, and I'm sure there's other villain examples that are not the same, but maybe kind of similar. But I really thought it was nice to have a villain that was intellectual and intellectual but not like, down with murder and whatever. Like, it's like, it's almost a little neoliberal and that, but I don't think it I don't know, it's to the detriment of the character at all. The one thing I see in criticism from people, and this one I don't agree with, is that the villain is purposely made an environmentalist to be like, 'cause this is like a pro-conservative movie with how they treat men, white men particularly, how women are portrayed in the film, and that more old school traditional sense. And I saw people try to argue that because that Samuel Jackson being a black environmentalist and rich man, that and being the bad guy of the movie, that makes this pro, or that this makes us conservative. And I don't think that. I
probably wasn't even a thought in making this. Like, especially whenever you're adapting from another material.
There's politics involved. There's politics.
Oh,
whoever made it originally, or I don't know what's from the movie and what's not, but politics is definitely involved. But I think that Samuel Jackson's character, the fact that he's willing to only save the billionaires, is not pro. It's not a socialist thing at all. It's not anywhere near that. It's, if anything, it's eco-fascism, which, just because Democrats or liberals or socialists are pro-environmentalism doesn't mean that they are pro saving the billionaires and killing the poor people to save the earth.
And a lot of time in casting stuff with directing stuff, a lot of it's just like, oh, this guy would be great playing this character, and like that's like the thought going in, not like, oh, him being a environmentalist and also being a person of color. Oh, is this gonna look bad? No, it's like, oh, Sam Jackson's gonna be awesome in this. This is written for him.
Yeah, but we have to do that stuff now. Like, you have to do that stuff now because it's like,
nowadays for sure. I mean, just like when you're looking back on something, it's like you have to look through the mindset of the filmmakers at the time.
But it's not. This isn't that long ago, and I think that I think this could have done. I think this could have done better, even for the time. It got criticism for these things at the time. It's not like this is retroactive, just my retroactive criticism. This is stuff that I saw that I was like, yeah, there's a point there. It doesn't mean that this is a bad movie. It doesn't mean that people shouldn't like laud this. It's just something to consider when you make more, when a movie is more movies are made, because like in the past representation was important, we want to have diversity and representation and in characters, but now we're at a point where it's not just about them being in, like people of all backgrounds being in it or having characters of these backgrounds. They also have to be used properly. Like they can't be caricatures or the stereotypes, reinforcing stereotypes, and it is complicated, and there is a level that is beyond that people expect in the social media verse from things that there just is not attainable. But there is, I think, there are instances where we can do better, and I think this movie has a few, but also I understand what he's trying to do with it, and if that's part of the vision, not that it's part of the vision, not making brown people the bad guys, but maybe how he uses women maybe is part of it, and he's trying to do something with it. But I was talking to Riss about it, and she just brought up a good point that sometimes when people try to do something new with an old thing that is kind of not in good taste anymore, and they try to bring it back or reframe it, recontextualize it for it to make it work again. But sometimes if you don't do that properly and execute that properly, it can end up reinforcing that original thing. And I don't know if this necessarily does that. All I'm saying is that is things that we should consider in our media. But yeah, doesn't make me hate the movie. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from on that. That stuff does make sense. But also overwhelmingly just enjoyed it. It's a great ride.
Fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's so many good action sequences. Like the very first one where it just kind of goes from, oh god, I thought I got disconnected when rhythm left. Like the very first real big action sequence where they're in the bar and Colin Firth's character, what's his name, Galahad, when he's the dudes who are friends with the guy banging Eggsy's mom come in to fuck him up, and he's just like, I've had a really bad day, can we not do this? And they're just like, no, and that's the whole manners make the man thing. Like, oh, that just set the tone of what the whole rest of the movie is like. And and it's so good. It's such a perfect way to just kind of like, this is what you're getting in for. Prepare for it for the rest of the movie.
Yep. Colin Firth, Taron Egerton are awesome. Samuel Jackson's great. Yeah, a lot of the cast is great. I love, like I said, I love the training test sequence. Probably my favorite part of the movie, other than the Colin Firth fights. But yeah, loved it.
If you were faced with shooting a pug, could you? If you were in the situation?
I was literally screaming, "Don't do it, Diggsy! Don't do it!"
Fucking.
If that was Bernie or Coop, no fucking way. I'd be like, "See
Oh
ya,
yeah.
see ya. I'll be poor the rest of my life."
Fucking A. Yeah, the pug. I just don't like pugs, but I don't think I could shoot it. I'd feel too bad. Fuck you, Michael Caine. You shoot a pug.
The second, I was reading in the second one. Apparently, it's not quite as good as the first one, but still, they say good.
Oh, that's good. It's due to studio interference. It became worse, is what I read.
I'm looking in the poster. Apparently, Colin Firth comes back.
Yep. And Channing Tatum's in it.
Yeah, I see that. Channing Tatum. He's the American Kingsman.
Yeah.
I think is. Oh yeah, that is what that is. They were like Rangers or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I would like to see more. It was good. Wasn't it didn't end up hitting the top tiers of BOOMFEST for me. I thought it was about to. But it's just under that. So I think I'm ready to score it if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm gonna give this a fucking solid 4.
Wow. I give this a 3.5. For reasons stated.
Yeah. Understandable.
Most people gave it a 4. Letterboxd has it average 3.7. I didn't do review roundup for the last one, but Ralph the Movie Maker's got a 3.5. Stuckman's 4. Jeremy Johns 5. 5. Jesus Christ, Jeremy Johns sucks. There, you heard it here. Carson is 3.
Everybody likes different things.
Mark Kermode 3. I Hate Everything 3, and Patrick Williams 4. I can see. If you really liked it, then good for you.
Yeah, if you really like Kick-Ass, you'll love this.
This is better than Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass, I looked back. I gave Kick-Ass a 3, so I give this a 3.5. Market improvement, definitely from the Vaughn God. So now that we've done that, let's talk about BOOMFEST as a whole and what was your favorite of these? Especially considering the ones that you've seen for the first time.
I would say it's probably either The Killer or
that's The Killer for me.
I'm trying to remember. I had to close Twitch because my internet was looking at shit. I'm just trying to think of the list. Atomic Blonde was good, but definitely not the best. What's it called? Heat, definitely not the best, at least in my opinion. Heat's
below Rambo, but it's above everything else for me.
If Heat was just the bank heist thing, like when they're doing the shootout in the thing in the middle of the street, maybe, but I just got so bored in the last hour of Heat.
I probably do Killer, Rambo, Heat, Kingsman, Dread, Raid, Atomic Blonde, Expendables.
I think I would do.
The Killers. I have my overall ranking up on the screen.
Yeah, I see it. I would say The Killer is definitely the best of BOOMFEST.
Killer is my number 2 of all of Best Boys right now.
Yeah, I would probably do Kingsman second, and then
Kingsman over Rambo. Over First Blood is wild.
I like the more fun movies like that. That's just more my steez.
Yeah,
Rambo's
you
definitely good.
you like fun popcorn movies.
I'd put Rambo probably at 3 then, followed by Dread, The Raid, Heat, Atomic Blonde.
What? No, that's fine. Dread and Raid over Heat is crazy. But yeah, that's fine. Rambo, yeah, is my number 2.
Overall film, but I had more in The Raid. But overall, though, it was a fun time. Definitely have different movies I want to pick for next year.
Yeah, we should do Point Break for sure. That Point Break,
Die Hard,
Expendables 2.
definitely one of the Die Hards.
Yeah, we could do a Die Hard. Yeah, we could
Terminator.
do a Die Hard.
We could do Aliens is technically an action movie.
Yeah, we should do the first one first. But that's my problem with some of those. Like, I want to do the whole series.
Well, that was luckily Alien and Aliens are so like completely different tonally, and like you could watch them independently and it'd be fine.
It is fine, but I watched them originally in production order, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I went on a whole Aliens binge after Dad got the Blu-ray set of them, and I just
the third one's not even that bad. The third one is not that bad. It's not good. It's fucked up, but it is way better than any of the ones that come after.
Oh God, yes. It's like I would say Prometheus is like the closest thing to come to 3.
Yeah, I would say they're almost on the same tier for me.
Covenant could have been so much better, but it just got. I did not like what they did with David.
All right, cut it. Save it for the Alien episode. So, all right, what do we want? We've been talking about what we want to do over the next few weeks. We just figured out we're gonna do Green Knight and Pig next week. Some other movies we were talking about recently was Zola was one. Space Jam was one.
Twilight.
Well, so that's the other thing we were talking about the first time we were recording, and this is actually the second time we tried to record. And our girlfriends want us both to watch Twilight. I actually watched Your Movie Sucks Twilight like commentary thing, and it's hilarious. It looks like the funniest fucking movies, and I really want to see them. But we don't think that it's worth tying up the podcast. I don't think it's worth watering down. Like, we're trying to watch good movies, and I don't want to make it into Mystery Science Theater shit. Or like Best of the Worst on Red Letter Media. I like that. I just don't want to do that too. So maybe we'll do a separate thing, like where we chronicle our thoughts on the Twilight series. And because I would be down to do that, because I'm gonna have to watch it soon.
Yeah, I just watched the first one this past week, and it's oh God, dude, the color grade alone makes me throw up my mouth.
Yes, it's colored terrible. Yeah,
everything about the movie is complete.
Yeah. I feel like I could make a better movie. Like right with what I own.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard. You just need the locations.
All right, so next week, Green Knight and Pig. I'm super excited. I've already seen Green Knight, so I only gotta watch one more. Are you gonna be busy next week? Or are you gonna have time?
I can watch this week. I fly out Thursday, and then I have all day Thursday. I'm just getting COVID tested Thursday, and then I work Friday, Saturday, and then I don't fly back until I don't leave LA until 4 p.m. your time Sunday.
We need to set up a mini night. Me and Riss actually started painting miniatures, so we've it's happening. We are balls deep in the hobby right now. I finally stopped putting it off.
We've been playing cards a lot lately, like rummy and shit.
We play Magic. We played Magic all night last night.
Nice.
Made some new decks. But all right, I think that's it. I don't got nothing left. Make sure you follow us. Slob Thomas for the Twitch. Slob Thomas for me on everything else. Kory
with a story for me on IG and YouTube.
And if you aren't subscribed to us on YouTube, that's the best place for to be following us on. But also for our audio listeners, we're on all that as well. All right, see you next week. We got Green Knight and Pig, and yeah, thank you for booming.
Have a great time. Be
Yeah.
safe out there after all that booming. You need to take a break, everybody. You need to take a rest.
Boomer bus.
Yeah. A lot of explosions. Get your ears checked out.
Boomer
you might
butts.
You might have Kotor ass ear.
Yeah. All right. That was a good one.
Later.